Well, that's where we are. We got a couple of other items. Time for the fans forum here because there's so many things to talk about, and everybody's got an opinion. Everybody's got a question. John, post a few here from our viewers on live stream.
Okay, so here's one. This is on the YouTube comments from Scott Zundell. He says, this is in reaction to the potential release of Keenan Allen so the Chargers can get below the salary cap. Charger player out for 3 games with a high ankle sprain. Mahomes doesn't miss 1 game. That, folks, is why the Chargers are what they are.
Well, that's a little bit over the top in terms of criticism. Please understand, all injuries are different. Sprains are different from player to player. It could be a high ankle sprain. It could be an issue. It could be a bone bruise. So unless you went to medical school, stay away from recognizing how bad the injury is. But I'll tell you what, Mahomes was around and he got hurt. He got hurt rolling to the left, making a throw, landing on the right ankle. He limped again, but he got it out. He came back at the end, and they needed him to run 12 yards at the end to try to drive going. He ran up the sidelines, and then, of course, he got aided by the personal foul penalty by the Bengal linebacker, which got him into field goal range, and they wound up winning the game. But the Chargers have just been devastated by injuries. They're evaluating their coaching staffs. I said this before, John, on our headline segment, that they need to evaluate where they are with their team physicians and their training, because they've just had an inordinate number of football injuries. But then again, maybe it's just the game of football. It's so big, it's so fast, it's so physical, and they get guys rolling up guys' knees and guys getting caught in blocks and tearing their pectoral muscle and getting blindsided and falling on their left shoulder. Now your quarterback's got a torn labrum. So I just think it's a game of football, and Lady Luck has not shined on the Chargers. But you can't compare this ankle injury in Kansas City to the Chargers ankle injury. And why is my guy not back on the field when the quarterback is?
Yeah, the injuries have been everywhere in this league. And, we talked about how Jerry Jones wants to add another game to the regular season. Is the players union going to go for that? Because we know there's going to be more injuries, more devastation. So
it's all about money. It's all about money. But I don't know very many people, aside from the fans, very many people that are interested in an 18th regular season game, because the wear and tear factor on players' bodies unbelievable. Next question on fans forum. What do we got?
Okay, so this is in reaction to the worst moment in Chargers history.
Oh.
And we had so many people that had comments, and this goes to the Marlon McCree thing. And it's a little bit long, but I want to read it. And this is from Initiator Hater 0688. He says, the Marlon McCree is the most painful one. I'm not a Charger fan, but I was rooting for the Chargers in that game. I was already tired of Tom Brady and the Patriots at the time. While the Marlon McCree fumbled pick no doubt contributed to the Chargers' loss in that playoff game, I'm not sure if it was the game-sealing interception if McCree hadn't fumbled, since there was like 6 minutes and 15 seconds remaining. But nevertheless, if the Chargers had gotten the ball back, they just needed a couple of first downs to kill valuable time off the clock.
Well, 688, I'll buy most of what you had to say. But you know what? It's the way these guys are wired. Marlon McCree makes a play that would save the game and then tries to make the second play to move the football up the field. Bingo, fumble. Tom Brady gets the ball. We know the history after that. It's like the Bengal linebacker in the AFC Championship game. Mahomes is making the run to the sidelines, trying to get out of bounds. The linebacker is chasing him at 105 miles an hour, trying to get there so he does not go out of bounds, so the clock would continue to run and then be able to go to overtime. Instead, he belts the guy just over the line, personal foul penalty. We know the history there. These guys are wired to play to the whistle. That's the way it works. Mm-hmm. And that's tough. But, the more I put that topic on the table weeks and weeks ago, worst moment in Charger history, this was in the aftermath of blowing the 27-0 lead to Jacksonville. I still tend to think, despite the Dan Fouts interception game and despite the horrors of some of the other playoff losses, worst moment was when Spanos took this team out of San Diego. That, to me, is the worst moment in Charger football history. You can argue with me, but you'd be wrong. You can't argue with a talk show host. But go ahead, John.
Yeah, I mean, there's been so many moments throughout history. I mean, when did the Marlon McCree thing happen? It was like 06 maybe?
So, yeah, somewhere around there.
But, as Charger fans, we just never get over it, and that was like almost 20 years ago. So we we just want to have a winner in San Diego. Maybe we have a shot with baseball this year.
Well, part of the conversation says cup half empty or glass half full. So when fans bring up, "I've only been to one Super Bowl, you got your doors blown off by Steve Young, et cetera, et cetera," my response has always been, the cup, it's half full. I'm remembering Dan Fouts, Air Coryell. I'm remembering Stan Humphries. I'm remembering the drive to the Super Bowl. I'm remembering Phillip Rivers and LT and Antonio Gates. So I just kind of get the broom out and sweep the negativity away because I remember the positive times. I will say this, though, when we get to the finish line on this conversation, Spanos took our team, but he can't take our memories, and he can't take the lightning bolt out of San Diego. And I don't care how they sell themselves, who they think they are, First Family of Football and all that other Archie Bunker crapola up in Los Angeles. The San Diego Chargers were better received and better served by 55 years of loyalty in the community here. And I don't think the Chargers in LA will ever be the success they could have been if they kept these guys here in San Diego.
Yeah, I mean, what a disappointment. And I don't think there's any way they're going to be able to, come back to San Diego. I don't know if we'll ever get another NFL team, but the memories always stick with us. Show me your lightning bolts, right?
I think I remember the good times. And if you're a Charger fan, I'll close our podcast this way. If you're a Charger fan, and I know you guys spend time on the internet, I want you to just go YouTube, San Diego Chargers drive to the Super Bowl. Because I did a project with NFL Films, and we put together the highlights of the greatest moment in Charger history, not a Fouts 500-yard game, and not Rivers, and not LT, and all that. The greatest moment was the AFC Championship win at Three River Stadium in Pittsburgh, where we shut those bleeping fans in Pittsburgh up, and they could use their terrible towels, crying towels, walking out of the stadium after Bobby Ross's Chargers beat the Steelers to give us the ticket to go to the Super Bowl. So just Google that, YouTube, San Diego Chargers Road to the Super Bowl, NFL Films package. You'll like it. Hey, listen, we thank